All right, so can everybody hear me? Awesome. Let's go ahead and start then. Today we're debating about whether Earth should cease searching for intelligent life on other planets. Let's look at a couple of definitions for this resolution. Intelligent life I'm going to define as life with self-awareness, use of tools, and use of language. Other planets are planets other than Earth. Cease means bring to an end, basically putting a moratorium on this until further conditions are met. What this resolution doesn't mean is that we can't explore space or that we can't actually listen to space using signals as long as we're listening for the purpose of exploration and not for finding intelligent life. Now, the reason that I say we should affirm the resolution is because it's simply impossible and impractical to actually use any knowledge of the existence of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe currently. Let's look at the why behind that. The basic point I'm going to make here is that with our current technology, we can't actually use the knowledge of intelligent life. Now, currently, there's the closest planet to Earth outside the solar system, which you're pretty certain doesn't contain intelligent life, is Proxima Centauri b. That's in the Alpha Centauri system. That planet currently experiences tons of X-ray radiation from its sun. It's tidally locked around a red dwarf star, I believe. That's not exactly the kind of environment one would expect to have life. But even if there is intelligent life on Proxima Centauri b, according to space.com, an experimental nanoprobe proposed by some scientists would take a couple of decades to get there, going at 20% the speed of light. A normal probe would take thousands of years under our current technology. Even if we were able to travel at the speed of light, Alpha Centauri is 4.3 life years away. That's about an 8.5-year round trip at light speed, technology we're far from developing right now. Basically, it's going to take years and years for a message or a probe or a ship of any kind to get to the closest star system which could contain intelligent life, though we're pretty sure it doesn't based on the actual facts on the ground. So basically what I'm saying here is we should cease searching until we actually know that we could make use of and benefit from the discovery of intelligent life. We should be waiting to receive actual information from intelligent life that there is out there. Basically, we should be waiting for first contact. Or we should wait until we're developing technology that enables us to go at faster than light speeds. Before that technology is developed, it's simply impractical and useless for us to be going out and looking for stuff and intelligent life in space, just because of the vast distances and the technological deficit. We just aren't equipped to do so. Passing the mic.
All right. Can you hear me okay? Good. All right. So during this debate, I'm going to be demonstrating why humanity, most of which currently resides on Earth, should continue to search for intelligent life on other planets. I'm going to have three main arguments. My first main argument you can put under the heading Collaboration Sparks Innovation. The search for intelligent life is a multidisciplinary project. Gathering the information, interpreting the information brings together fields that may not normally be brought together to do things that may not normally do together. And as those fields come together and work, they're going to produce innovations on both sides that are worthwhile and advance both fields and probably advance other fields as well. My second argument is going to be citizen scientists. Okay, limited budgets for the search for extraterrestrial life, intelligent extraterrestrial life, have required institutions to develop and harness an unusual resource, and that resource is the citizens and their desire to know. So by creating programs that allow citizens to analyze data, even being untrained, and to allow those citizens to use their systems when they're not using them to order to process data, this allowed for community building. It allows for an increased interest about science in general. Also, just in the process of searching for intelligent life, a common goal, this search to find other intelligent life has created a desire in our community for more people to get into science and all the sciences. And finally, I think maybe the strongest argument I have here is that we shouldn't do something like search for intelligent life. To say that we shouldn't do something is like that famous quote, we choose to go to the moon, We choose to go to the moon in this decade and to do other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Now, there are 100 billion planets in our galaxy, and there are 2 trillion galaxies. So if life exists, finding it will probably be the hardest thing that humanity has ever accomplished, and is the hardest thing that humanity will ever do. That in itself should be enough for us to do it. We as humans do the impossible. I'll pass it back to you.
So I'm going to start out this speech with a basic analogy. If we were going to say that the Greeks should run a trireme from Athens over all the way to the New World back in the day, like back in the time of 400 BC, if we were going to say the Greeks should be searching for new continents way west of the Mediterranean Sea, that'd be a bit extreme. They just didn't have the technology to successfully run a trireme from Athens all the way to Washington, D.C. It just didn't happen. They didn't have the ability to do so. And that's basically what I'm saying. We currently don't have the benefit of the technology capable of actually making use of and benefiting from the discovery of intelligent life, even if it is out there. Let's respond to my opponent's points. His first point and his second point, I'm going to group respond to with 2 different arguments. My first is that it's non-unique. When we're talking about the search for intelligent life, it's not something that these people can't do and these benefits can't come from basic space exploration, going with a different goal than the discovery of intelligent life. There's plenty of other ways to get these kind of benefits without spending our time and resources on trying to find intelligent life. Secondly, it's a small area. This is a very small area of what we're doing in space as a total. We're not spending that much on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and there isn't that much of a community built around here. There's a much bigger and I'd say more beneficial community built around things like NASA, which are doing normal space exploration. And that's what I'm suggesting we should be focusing on here. So these arguments are pretty small and they're non-unique to this issue of searching for intelligent life. His third argument of the idea that it's hard to do and therefore it's good, I guess, just one basic argument in response to this, and that's that I'm not disqualifying us from trying to find intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. What I am saying is that currently we can't receive any benefit and we can't receive any use from discovering intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. And so while it's good to do this, and it's probably good to do it in the future, right now we don't have the benefit and we don't have the ability to benefit from it. And so we should be waiting. We should be ceasing our exploration for now, our exploration for intelligent life for now, until we actually develop basically warp speed or somehow, so we can benefit from the discovery of intelligent life. Passing the mic.
Okay, just a quick question. You can just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm sure a trireme, that's a boat, right? A big boat. Yeah. Okay. So I want to respond to that point, saying that say they attempted to sail around the world using a trireme, and maybe they wouldn't succeed. But every time they tried, they would learn something that would make the next attempt better. They would make the technology of the boat itself better. They would eventually succeed, which obviously now we have evolved to where we can sail around the world. So they would. So every attempt then helps to identify problems, helps to refine design, and those designs and those identified problems, when they're solved, then make all the other boats that aren't trying to go around the world, they're just trying to sail back and forth, that much better. So by attempting what would be considered at that time the impossible, by attempting the impossible, they have made what is possible and what is practical that much easier to do and that much more effective. So I want to go and then respond and build here on what I was saying earlier here. You've made the point that we wouldn't be able to use the knowledge that intelligent life exists in our galaxy or outside of our galaxy at all. I mean, I don't know what you mean when you say you're not able to use the knowledge, but to me, if you have the knowledge that we as humanity are not alone and are not the sole intelligent beings of our universe, how would that not influence what we do, influence the things, the way we think? How would we not use that knowledge to become better or worse as a species? I mean, we on Earth, we know we are the most intelligent. We do not have peers when it comes to our intelligence. So if we could and know that there's one out there, why would we not then be able to send messages or receive their messages? I mean, at little cost to us, if we were to discover intelligent life that was even 100 years that traveling at light speed to get there. So it took 200 years in order for us to communicate. That wouldn't be impractical. We are able to pass knowledge that they exist and that what our message says, and we can build on that. Maybe I don't know that we'll be able to go faster, but we can start moving towards them, communicate them. So maybe it takes a long time, but it's not impossible and it's not pointless. So just because we are limited currently where we could possibly even go physically, our messages travel at light speed, and we are not limited by time as a species, even though we as individuals may be limited by time.
Okay, so let's talk again about the issue of the Greek and the example of the trireme. Now, my opponent says that the Greeks could have eventually succeeded through the attempts and they could have gotten better. But again, in response to this, it's non-unique. The Greeks were able to develop their technology more by sailing around the Mediterranean than by trying to go all the way west as far as they could go. This is the same thing with the space program. There's lots of technology being developed right now that relies on just space exploration normally without searching for intelligent life. The moon landing had nothing to do with intelligent life, yet we developed a ton of technology based on it. This issue is completely non-unique, which is about to be my favorite word for the rest of this debate. But let's talk again about his point about knowledge would benefit us just inherently. Now, I don't really understand why this would apply, because currently most people believe that there is some form of intelligent life in the universe. When there are, as he says, 100 billion planets in the universe, most people are guessing there's probably something intelligent out there. So currently we don't have any evidence that something exists, but currently we do tend to believe that something does exist. So I don't see how this is actually going to be some measurable benefit. I don't see an impact to this point. Finally, he talks about how the whole idea of it just being a long distance is not pointless, that we would go there, it would be fine for us as a species. But I don't think he really understands the argument that I was making here. Now, the argument that I was making was that when you have the closest star that we have, under current technology taking thousands of years to send a probe there, nobody's going to sign on for a 1,000-year round trip. Well, multiple thousands of years round trip. There was a whole Star Trek series about that, Star Trek Voyager, where they were all mad that they had to go on a 100-year voyage back to Earth. Like, that was the entire theme of the series. People don't sign up to go on thousands of year voyages. That just doesn't happen. Like, currently, we're not going to be able to benefit if something is 200 years away. Even going the speed of light to something that's 100 light years away. We just won't be able to do that. That's completely impractical. Instead, what we should do is wait until we have the technology either received from aliens through first contact, or we've developed it ourselves, where we can actually take quick journeys, like using warp speed. That's the way that we can actually benefit from this technology, from this knowledge. We have to have the ability to benefit from it, which is going to require faster travel and better technology than we have now. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic.
Okay, I guess since you're going to use the word non-unique, I'll just have to counter with some unique explanations, okay? So let's go back to your sailing trip. You may be right that most of the same problems will be encountered with a ship sailing around the Mediterranean. So if you have 100 ships, send 99 of them sailing around the Mediterranean. But you can't tell me that a ship trying to do something different, sailing around the world, isn't going to encounter very unique situations that will develop. Then we'll have to develop unique solutions for their unique environments that they're going to. So you're going to have these unique processes of unique experiences that are going to point out to problems that would never have come up. You know, if they're sailing around the Mediterranean, they're not going to have to deal with, you know, Arctic temperatures. So they're going to have to come up with a way to insulate their ships better. As an example, I don't know how poor of an example it is with ships. I'm not that familiar with them, but I can see that being in a different environment is going to have a different impact on the ship that is going to maybe change the way that we design the ships, make them more durable. So that's going to be a unique experience that'll change. Now, you're absolutely right. You shouldn't send all 100 ships around the world, but why not send one? Why not send and find out these unique problems. I mean, there's no reason not to do that when you know that you're going to be encountering unique situations. You know that you're going to be looking at it from a point of view that the people going around the Mediterranean aren't going to have. So by using your own example, you can see that there's going to be unique situations that they're going to encounter that will come up with unique problems that will need unique solutions. You also made a point that that if we were traveling, now I would assume that if the star's distance, as we said, then our communication would be at light speed through our own transmissions and their return. So we'd have, I think you said the closest planet is, I don't know, 5 years away, 6 years away, light speed. So we'll be able to, I don't know, remember exactly what you said. I'll assume that's right. But anyway, we can bounce that back and forth and have conversations that, are long by our normal standard, but would not be long if you're transmitting bits of information. And that can be a constant flow. So as soon as they establish contact with us, now you're talking about endless transfer of, yes, there's a delay of some kind, but it's going to be an endless transfer of information if we decide to contact them. Now, you're talking about first contact. To me, it seems like it would be wise of us to know people were coming before we're getting contacted, especially if you believe any of the dire warnings from Stephen Hawking and those like that. You also said that you didn't think many people would sign up to go on a 1,000-year voyage, or to go on a voyage where they'll stay in space and then their children's children would be there. I just simply disagree.
Okay, so let's go back to the whole issue of the Greek ship. And yeah, this wasn't intending to be like an entire separate debate, a sub-debate about this whole issue. But I think the analogy still applies, and that's why I bring it up. The point was, a trireme doesn't really survive the North Atlantic very well. It's a coastal ship, most likely. It's just not really capable of efficiently sailing across the North Atlantic. And if you're going to send it out into the North Atlantic, it's probably going to sink. Even if our ships don't sink, even if our spaceships are capable of sailing to Proxima Centauri b over thousands of years, it's just not going to be very beneficial and efficient to do so. In that 1,000-year technology, we'll probably be able to develop better technology, which will be able to send ships faster, and that's going to be way better and more efficient than sending a single ship that's going to take thousands of years to get to its destination. So basically, I'm just saying it's not capable. We're not really capable of it, and we're not really going to be efficient at doing it. So let's go and talk about the whole idea about the delay on the transfer of information. It's still going to be a good thing. Okay. So the problem that I see with this point is sometimes, like when I'm texting somebody and they send me back a message and I'm not available, I might get on there in 2 hours and text them back. I've never waited 8 years to text somebody back. Like, if you send a message that's going to take 8 years to send there and get a reply, if we can send a communication at light speed, which I don't believe we can, that's an enormously long time, and we're not going to be able to benefit really from it at all. This transfer of information also has other problems, like, can we even understand their language? Can we understand their language just based on transmissions to them? Like, that's not really going to be beneficial at all. We would probably have to go to the planet in order to understand even how their language works. And again, that's going to be thousands and thousands of years. It's far better not to send those thousands of years ships and actually focus more on developing the technology that enables us to get there faster. And that's basically the point I'm making. And I don't really know anybody who wants to sign up for a 1,000-year voyage that they're never even going to be able to see the end on. Like, I just don't think that's a practical method. What we should be doing instead is focusing on normal space exploration, developing our technology, and if there's going to be a first contact, it's going to have to be somebody else, I think. And I'd pass the mic.
Okay, let me just start out. You said it's not going to be beneficial for us to go exploring to another planet or whatever. I mean, we must define beneficial differently. I mean, it seems to me that simply going and experiencing and being part of the human race that has gone and done something hard and done something that's practically impossible, or done something difficult, is beneficial to us as a species. I mean, benefit doesn't mean that it has to be some sort of it has to give us money or it has to give us more resources. I mean, just accomplishing something or being part of something as grand as traveling to another solar system or exploring or finding or even seeking out intelligent life and not finding. I mean, answering the question, are we alone? Answering it no will still be an answer, and that's something amazing that we can do that would benefit uh, all of humanity. I mean, it benefits. Maybe we define benefit differently. And you said that we can accomplish these same goals by just not worrying about searching for extraterrestrial life. But if we do that, if we focus instead solely on our limited area, so maybe we'll colonize Mars, maybe we'll colonize, and then what? And then so basically, for your same reasons that we don't search for intelligent life, we would never expand beyond our own solar system. There would be no reason to ever even attempt to, because why would we? It's going to take so long. I mean, to me, that just says that's a limited thinking, is that, okay, well, let's focus on this and not focus on that. I mean, we're not so incapable of focusing on two goals at one time that we can't, 99% of our science and our research and everything can be focused on the local area, and when we can. And then you have the people who want to spend their life searching for it, give them the ability and let them do it. I mean, they're not wasting their time if they're not going to be actively participating in the local research or the local expansion of our own solar system, or the local expansion of the human race to another planet. If they're not going to be actively involved in that, then there's no reason why they shouldn't be searching for extraterrestrial life. I don't feel like you've demonstrated a reason, given that the vast number of human beings, and how I pointed out that these people that now anybody that has a personal computer can analyze passive data that we're getting and search for extraterrestrial life. There's no reason not to do it. With the data's already there, as you said, so why not search for it, search through it? So I don't think it's a waste of resources when those resources wouldn't be doing what you seek to accomplish anyway.
So the first point my opponent makes is this idea of beneficial, and he says that we must have different definitions of beneficial because he believes that doing something hard that may answer a question most of us have already believed to be one way answered is something that's good and beneficial. Now, I simply don't believe that something that's hard to do is inherently good, especially when there's a better option, that is placing this moratorium and waiting until we have the technology so that we can actually practically benefit from doing that hard thing. And so that's what I'm basically saying here. My opponent goes on to say that we should, under my interpretation, have no reason to expand beyond our solar system. That's not the case. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that right now we don't have the technology to actually practically be able to search beyond our solar system for intelligent life, and we don't have the ability to expand beyond the solar system right now. In the future, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Proxima Centauri b, but only when we have the ability and the technology to do so. That's the point I'm making. Basically, it's not right now. The time is not right. And then my opponent goes on to say basically that there are people who want to do this and who want to sit in front of their computers and analyze data. Sure, people also want to sit in front of their computers and play Halo. This is not unique. I'm just saying that we shouldn't be spending our time and resources to do this. And for the reasons I provided, this is not the right time to do that. We should be focusing on developing our technology and exploring space, not trying to be grasping at straws to do something that's impractical in the current moment. Passing the mic.
Okay, you used an analogy, so I'm going to use one of my own. Say a climber wants to climb a high mountain, all right, and the technology doesn't exist in order for a human being to survive at that altitude. So the climber wants to do it anyway, so he keeps trying. He works with some people. They develop certain gear that he needs in order to climb the mountain. That would be a practical waste. It would be akin to what you're saying searching for extraterrestrial life is. It's of no benefit except to the people that are doing it. The guy who's climbing the mountain, that's the only one that is going to benefit. So basically, you're wasting resources. He's not going to be able to do it probably, and if he does, it won't actually benefit humanity at all. But as I've said before, just the fact of doing it, he's doing it with it seems that that's beneficial enough for him, and to be a part of that, and everything that comes along from it benefits the human race. again, not having the ability to do something currently seems to me is not a reason not to try to do something. I mean, we went to the moon. We had to develop technology that we didn't currently have. We set a goal that was impossible. At the time that the goal was set, it was absolutely impossible. Then we developed the technology. We went to the moon. I guess I've heard it went to the moon on less computing power than in our cell phones right now. So to say that something is impossible because we haven't tried it or haven't succeeded yet, and that we should wait until the technology comes along to make it better, just to me, this seems, I don't know, anti-human. So I'll let you pass it back for your closing remarks, and then I'll close out.
So this debate has basically come down to one big idea. And that's that my position is we should wait until we actually can practically use and benefit from finding intelligent life. My opponent says we should be trying to do the impossible now because it might kill us, but heck, that's what humanity is all about. Now, I kind of disagree with this point. If you're going to commit suicide by climbing a mountain that's going to be too hard for you to do that, you shouldn't be doing that. If you develop the technology that can help you climb that mountain, all right, sure, go ahead and do it. But currently, we don't have that technology. We're not going to gain it by searching for extraterrestrial life. We have other avenues, as I pointed out, to gain this technology through normal space exploration, and we're not going to be getting it by risking our lives and doing something completely pointless, sending a ship thousands of years away. They're just not going to be able to learn and come back to Earth with understanding for thousands and thousands of years. So this point doesn't really apply. This analogy isn't a very good one, honestly. So then my opponent goes on to say the whole idea of just because we can't do something right now is not a reason that we shouldn't be doing it. And he goes to the example of the moon and landing on the moon. But this is the point. Landing on the moon wasn't an impossible thing to do. Like, we knew how we could do it. We had to work on it, sure. But it wasn't something that was going to take us thousands of years to get there under current technology. They wouldn't have gone to the moon if it was going to take thousands of years to get there. So the moon wasn't impossible. Currently getting to Alpha Centauri system in a reasonable amount of time is impossible. And because we need to be looking at the practical benefit to the human race from finding this new technology, I don't think we should be risking our lives or sending drones, spaceships thousands of years away in order to do it.
All right, so with a minute and a half left, I'll go ahead and close out my argument. So, like you said, this has come down to whether or not searching for extraterrestrial life or intelligent life, rather, on other planets is pointless at this time because we wouldn't be able to benefit from the information. It doesn't seem like he's been able to show me or show anyone that we shouldn't keep looking, even because, it probably won't help us out immediately. No one is suggesting that we should put every single bit of resource that we have on this and what he's calling an impossible task, which may turn out to be impossible, but it's definitely very, very difficult. But right now we put such a small amount of resources into doing it that even if it were one innovation comes out of it, if one innovation comes out of the search for intelligent life on other planets, then it's worth it. It's worth the minute amount of resources that we spent to do it. Doing something that is impossible, succeeding at it or failing at it, we always learn. He says that we knew how to go to the moon. Well, we had a general idea of how to do it. Every test we did, every new bit of data that we got, refined it. Otherwise, we would have just built the perfect spaceship the first time, which we didn't. So,
okay. So I believe that this debate comes down to an issue. Is searching for intelligent life something we should do because it's practical or something we should do because it's impossible? Or I don't want to mischaracterize my opponent's argument, but what he's saying here is that we should be doing something that's hard purposely just because it's hard. Now, I happen to disagree. When we talk about something like spending these resources on doing something like this, that doesn't offer us unique benefits. I've already explained how space exploration in general, not searching for intelligent life, achieves all the benefits my opponent is talking about. When we look at this without any unique benefits, should we be spending our time and resources to do it? I happen to believe the answer is no. We should be waiting. We should cease our intelligent life searching until we